Hi, guess what? Today we're going to take a look at BoomTown. I'm really excited to get into it. It's been 5 years since I dug into this platform, and I finally have access to an end user account. I'm going to walk through it. I'm going to make a pros and cons as I do with a lot of my other reviews. I'm going to take a crack at telling you who I think that this tool is best used by, how I would leverage it myself. For those of you who may not be familiar with me, my name is Robert Newman. I'm a 16-year veteran of the real estate marketing industry. I've worked for some of the top real estate marketing companies in Southern California, like Agent Image and Inforza. I've consulted with many other companies. Many of them I'm still under an NDA with, but I will say this. Many of the companies that are in my top 10 list that are real estate marketing companies, I've consulted with, about 40% of them. So I have been fortunate to be around long enough, always focused on inbound marketing and SEO. And I've also been talking to agents about real estate lead generation that entire time. I'm the founder of my own company, Inbound Real Estate Marketing. We do extremely high-end, custom web-based like websites and SEO projects. And I've had the good fortune to work on projects on BoomTown, Sierra Interactive, and Real Estate Webmasters and Real Geeks. So I've actually used most of the platforms that are popular in the real estate marketing industry. So with no further ado, let's dive in. So BoomTown is a platform that costs about $1,000 to $1,500 a month. It's for teams, usually between 1 and 2 people, up to 300 people. I'll tell you right away, it's not my favorite platform by any stretch of the imagination if it's a team of 1 or 2. The people that should be looking at this are real estate teams that have many, many agents. Somewhere between 20 to 2,000 would be my sweet spot for this particular real estate platform, and I will explain why. First of all, in terms of customization and overall look, you can see in front of you, BoomTown hasn't really updated their design principles in a very long time, certainly not since the last time that I reviewed the platform in 2017. So I'm not going to spend very much time on this. My older review still holds true in most of what I said. So I'm going to stick with the things that have changed or the things that have updated. That brings us directly into my access into the back end. If you're an agent and you're using this platform, you'll see over here on the upper right-hand side, there's something that says sign in. Once you sign in, you'll see a screen like this, right? And this is exactly as this screen should appear to an agent, all right? So if you are an agent and you are proactive and you are using BoomTown on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of a toolkit could you be handed in using like KV Core, Real Geeks, Sierra Interactive as examples, BoomTown rates very, very highly on the ability for you to, 1, work leads, 2, create leads. Okay, if I had to put us on a scale of 1 to 10, I would put in, and measuring it against all the other platforms that are out there, I'm going to give BoomTown an 8 or a 9 in terms of being able to work the leads. So you're looking at a screen that if I had any data in here, which I do not, I would be able to sort through all of my leads by not only new, qualify, hot, nurture, but watch, but also I have all these other filters over here, verified new leads, not contacted. The ability to sort through leads and add a whole bunch of filters straight out of the gate is extremely appealing, okay? So I made some notes. I'm going to throw them up on the screen. This is the Lead Centrals tab. Now, one of the things that you might notice is that there is a button here called Get Started Power Dialing. That is a Mojo integration, okay? You can import leads or export leads out of BoomTown directly into Mojo. And if you use the system this way, since it's proprietary information, I obviously have access to, there is a Mojo training session in BoomTown. However, BoomTown has locked down most of their advanced learning. And since they've locked it down, I don't feel it's right for me to reveal it inside of a review. If they have it public, which they do for some of their stuff, then I feel perfectly justified in reviewing it. So um, I seen the Mojo integration, and I'm going to say this. I think they've taken a lot of time, and I think it's really cool. They basically have made it, they give you some advice about how you work your leads, and they've customized the experience inside Mojo so that basically it matches the experience inside BoomTown. Now, there's some pros and cons to this. If you're not already familiar with Mojo, if you're not using Mojo, they are literally saying that the integration into BoomTown is best used with Mojo. If you're using another dialing system, I do believe at a minimum, while you can probably export your leads into this other dialing system, they certainly don't seem to have customized the user experience, meaning that most of the time, if you're going to integrate or partner with another company, you're going to highly recommend that people go with that company. I do the same thing with Follow Up Boss. You get used to working with that platform. Invariably, as a real estate marketing provider, you end up having to do some support for this other marketing platform. So you're not going to have an endless list of people that you really do high-end two-way customizations. Mojo is the person that BoomTown has selected. I like Mojo as a dialer. I don't like that the fact that this is the only integration. There's a lot of other people doing other calling systems off Redx and many other calling systems, Grasshopper, and the lead goes on, like the list goes on and on. Like with HubSpot, they have an integration with, I think it's Truvio, something like that. Anyway, each time that you are working with a platform and they're sending you to another calling system, you're kind of stuck using that platform's calling system unless you go outside the integrated system that that platform is recommending. Now, as a end user, an agent, if you've already spent 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 hours getting used to a dialing system like I have with HubSpot, you're going to go head desk every time somebody tells you that you have to use another dialer in order to integrate or get special features, mostly just because you've already known, like you've already spent your 40 or 50 hours, you've called off this platform incessantly. So in terms of saying that they have Mojo, I love the integration. It's a 10 of 10. If you're using Mojo, this is really exciting. If you're not using Mojo and you've been using something else, this is not really exciting at all. I would put it at a 5 of 10 if you're using another dialing system already, because now you're faced with all of the user-based time that you're going to have to invest into learning a new platform. Now, they've made it as easy as possible, so that's great, but it's still another system. What would I personally do? I think that this is another revenue stream for BoomTown, and for the majority of this review, I'm just going to say that what they seem to have done is, in terms of expanding their revenue opportunities, they seem to be looking deeply into integrations and partnerships with other people. There's no doubt that there's a revenue share here with Mojo, and there's probably a revenue share with many of the things that I'm going to point out inside the system. That's great for them, but that does mean that they are a less flexible system. Now, for those of you that have large teams, this is not bad news. This is actually kind of good news. Every single time that you have a structured, like sales lead management process that is easier to teach, train, and scale than not having a structured one. For small users, 1 to 5 people, agents that maybe have 3 support personnel but are selling a lot of property themselves, this is not the way that you want to go. Full stop. It's not going to be useful to you. It's probably just going to be confusing and unhelpful. But for people with large teams, this is probably exactly the way that you want to go, because it's a predefined lead management experience. And if you're going to buy into it, you should buy into it 100%, spend all your time and resources getting used to this particular system. You can see here that my other comments are incredibly detailed filters for lead generate for leads, collapsible menu for better UI UX experience, and the advanced filter category, 17 categories with subcategories, is insane. Okay, so you have so many different ways that you can sort and parse your leads. And I love that. That's a great thing to have as a salesperson. If you've got 10,000, 20,000 leads, I've got like 30,000 names and numbers I've collected over 16 years of doing this. That would be an incredibly useful thing that they have so many different lead filters here. Now, Marketing Central, so as a little bit of background, the main call to action for BoomTown has always been their creativity in the way that they've leveraged marketing. Now, the entire real estate industry has gone towards Facebook, Instagram, and Google ads in terms of lead generation. And these guys don't really break out of that mold. In terms of what they are offering, there's one big improvement here that I want to call out right away. I'm not going to show you these videos. I'm just going to say that I've reviewed them all and that they're very good, that they're intuitive and they're good. These two tabs take you to a knowledge center, which is one of those locked down features that I mentioned. What I've done is I've gone ahead and taken some personal notes after reviewing the videos, and I'm going to review those with you. So in general commentary, is BoomTown doing anything better or worse than most of the other lead generation platforms that are out there that have good CRMs? The answer is no. Real Geeks does this about as good as they're doing it. And Real Geeks is significantly less. Real Geeks is about $300 a month, and this is about $1,000 to $1,500 a month. I've heard some of my customers telling me that they occasionally squeak in with deals for as little as $750 a month. And what you're getting access to is your agents are getting access to this toolkit. So if you're looking at the system, you should be a team and you should be evaluating the toolkit that your team gets. And then you should also be evaluating, will your team use the toolkit or not? Because it does not matter if you have a $10,000, like $100,000 Mercedes, if the person that you're handing it off to does not have a driver's license. All right. So having said that, Marketing Central, promote listings. Agents can use this feature to generate leads and send them straight to BoomTown under their own name. Cool feature. You can promote listings on Instagram or Facebook. This tool leverages location targeting. They call it geo-targeting. The words are different, but it can be a radius, 15 miles. It can be a specific city name, zip code, things like that. They also do something called lookalike audiences, which is super cool. If you're a salesperson, you come into a team, they're using BoomTown, you upload your list of contacts if you're willing to let your data go into a central database like a broker, because now the broker and BoomTown will own your information, but let's just say that you're okay with that. Then you get what's called a lookalike audience. So if you spent a lot of time as a salesperson generating a certain type of audience, such as people relocating or in a certain profession, like working for a big employer that's in your area, this lookalike audience now grabs all the other people that might look the same way inside the Facebook ecosphere. Facebook targeting is not what it once was. I'm not as excited about this feature. I'm just saying, I'm just explaining to you what it is. It sorts leads by agents or utilizing agent and broker subdomains. Now, this is very cool. So if you do upload your list as an agent, you can be fairly certain that the leads are going to come back to you because BoomTown is using something like your name dot the name of the website dot. So in this case here, it would be robertnewman.outerbanksgroup.com. That is a subdomain. So any lead generated using that subdomain is automatically sent into my database inside BoomTown, and that's pretty cool. You have 3 ad templates, which is about as good as you can hope for in terms of an ad generation system. The tool that they are using, the tutorials, it is very intuitive. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm giving it an 8. I think that most people should be able to figure it out, maybe even a 9. The only people that probably wouldn't be able to figure out is people that had almost zero experience with digital advertising of any kind, in which case nothing is really going to be intuitive. And what that person should probably do is go onto YouTube or Instagram or TikTok and basically get themselves acquainted with the very, very, very basics on how to use Facebook advertising and how to use Instagram advertising. Broker admins do have the option to promote the company website. Agents do not have this option. So an admin can actually promote listings off the main corporate website, like this website. Agents do not have that ability. They have the ability to create a page. An agent might be able to throw listings into features like here or direct people back to these listings on the site, which means that the leads that come in would be for the corporate, the broker, not for the agent. All right. The next feature here under marketing is automate active listings. All right. Automate active listings. These are my notes. You can create filters that will automatically create ads within a predefined budget. And this is a very cool feature. As a matter of fact, this might be something that might be BoomTown unique, or if it isn't BoomTown unique, then the only platforms that would probably have something this intuitive would be like a Sync or BoomTown. So now if you're trying to automate all your processes, say listings come up within a certain price range and they're automatically going to get promoted for you. They're going to get advertised for you. The minute that one of your agents uploads a new listing that hits a number of criteria, price, city, zip code, there's an unknown amount of filters. I was not able to identify how many filters were really truly there. The tutorial did not explain that, just simply said that filters existed. I did not like that. I think that they should have been much more detailed. So in terms of promote this automated promote listings feature, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm actually going to give it a 6 because I walked away with more questions than it answered. And so most likely there could be a deep dive in the Knowledge Center or someplace else inside BoomTown, but every time somebody creates a video and then that video creates the need to go down rabbit holes, I'm usually not a fan. So that's automate listings. Hopefully that you also can automate these listings with the same kind of intuitive ad preferences as you could under promote listings, which is location, lookalike audiences, so on and so forth. All right, so promote sold. So that's this over here. You can take sold data, okay, sold homes, and you can again create an ad automatically off the home that you've already sold. Instagram, Facebook, linking. Now, here's where some of your options get a little bit different. You can promote these solds onto your own Facebook page. If you are an agent, you're watching this video and somebody else is giving you the BoomTown tool, this is cool for you. And you do not want your listing to go onto the corporate page, in my opinion. The lead, in theory, should come back to you, but my question to agents is always going to be the same thing. At the end of the day, we are all, me, you, everybody that sells something, we're basically independent contractors. We are selling, building up a reputation. We just happen to believe in the product or service that we're representing. So whatever the local broker is, you signed up with them, you believe in them, you're giving them their piece, but that does not mean that you should be building their business for them. You should be building your business. All right. Leads are sorted based on the targeted subdomain. Audience targeting is predefined the same as with the others. With lookalike audience, I've already covered all that. All right, so that's you can do, and then the automated, which I did not create a list like a separate sheet for, because it's essentially the automated feature is the same as the promote listings. It's just you can promote solds the same way. So you can say, hey, every time I've sold a property, it's automatically promoted onto my Facebook page. Again, I think this is super cool. That automated feature in general, while we don't know all the filters, is an incredibly cool feature. I like anything that says, oh, I sold something and automatically it's posted somewhere else, and now maybe I get a couple of inquiries or at least a couple comments on my Facebook page. So basically the sale itself propagates the idea that maybe I can generate some leads, and I really don't have to do anything except set up these rules inside this platform. That's a neat feature. So I'm going to give that an 8 or a 9, and it definitely sets BoomTown apart as one of the few people that has the ability to do that. Seller leads. This is just another filter. All right, narrow your leads. It's going to say, hey, we don't have any, seller leads, but you could filter through like, is somebody thinking of listing their home? Narrow your leads, lead type. You can see here, sellers. Now, some point somebody had to put that designation in that they think that this lead is a seller. So if most of you are like most real estate salespeople, you're not going to have as many of these to sort through. That is evidenced by the fact that there's less filters here. Lead Central is probably your main bucket, but seller leads are obviously, your golden ticket. Now, I am not going to click on Hot Sheet because it would reveal the inventory in this particular market, and I don't want to do that, but I'm going to say Hot Sheet is listings. Your hot sheets are your listings that have been propagated, and it's a filter that is based on how long has the system seen the lead. So it could be 37 minutes, could be an hour, 2 hours, and it's doing it by time. It's a cool feature if you have hunters on staff. Now, that's what I call a very aggressive salesperson, a very hungry salesperson who's out there cold calling, knocking on doors, doing something each and every single day. They're not sitting around waiting for digital leads. They are going to be pounding the pavement for you no matter what. Or second option for big teams, really organized digital marketers, you could hire your call people out of the Philippines or someplace else, and you could have them calling the hot sheet leads, at least getting a verbal introduction to people that have their home on the market, and introducing them to your brokerage, even though that home is probably already listed under another real estate agent. We never know what the criteria is that those homes are listed under. So I like this a lot. There's 100 different ways to access this particular sales strategy. That they're doing it here is cool. Now, my listings and my deals is exactly what they sound like. My deals is just a tracking system for you to track your own production. It's a cool little, billboard benchmark thing that says these are the, how many opportunities I have, how many active opportunities, what my GCI is. You can see here it's gross sales GCI, all sources, direct traffic, Bing.com, where did the lead come from? This list is actually a little bit limited. So I'm not going to say that the sources, like on a scale of 1 to 10, this is probably a 5. Okay, in terms of are they filtering out sources? Systems like Sync and other systems are much more robust in terms of sourcing, like how many different lead sources can you have? Follow Up Boss, incredibly more robust. So in terms of a CRM, this is somewhat limited in terms of what's out there in the market. The to-do list, it's kind of cool, but once again, this feature is actually not as intuitive, not as interesting as the way that other systems have designed it. So again, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give it a 5. The messaging, which is probably BoomTown sorting out your conversations and throwing active emails, text messages, whatever that are associated with your phone number into your messages. It can be cool. It just depends on how robust of a salesperson you are. Now, as an inbound marketer, we tend to work with hotter leads. Like, we're not trying to do 100 different leads and manage 100 different conversations, which is what a cold caller would be doing in the seller, like in the hot sheet category. You could be managing many, many different conversations that are in the very, very early stages of, let's say, listing their home. And so if you're one of those types of salespeople, this messaging center could be really neat for you. And I do like it for that particular type of real estate salesperson. If you're like me or the systems that I utilize, this isn't as exciting. The now top opportunities is basically only going to be as good as you are in terms of how you manage your CRM. In terms of this particular bit, okay, the lead sorting part is excellent. In terms of how you work your leads, there's 100 systems out there that I feel are better. On the agent side, like Bold Leads is better, Chime is better. Most of the top systems have simplified how you're working your leads. So if you're looking at this from like a straight up agent's perspective and the agent themselves was going to buy their system, they're probably not going to be buying BoomTown. They're going to be buying something else because it's easier to use and it's more intuitive. Reporting. Our reporting is pretty cool. Obviously, I have nothing in here, but this dashboard is actually better than most other dashboards that you have available to purchase as a broker, as an agent. So in terms of tracking what you've done overall, this dashboard, this automatic dashboard, is much more complete than similar functionality. As a matter of fact, off the top of my head, I can't remember. I don't think anybody else has anything that's this robust. So you as a team leader would probably be able to see a similar dashboard as this one for each agent. You can probably even log into the agent's dashboard. This here makes this tool very interesting from the team and broker standpoint. Let's say you've got a sales manager, he's managing 25 real estate salespeople, and I'm using old language. That's not what how most real estate agents or brokers identify their people anymore, but let's just say that's what they're doing. This right here is very neat, very cool, especially if you're doing what I like to refer to as old school sales management, which is still one of the most effective types of sales management that exists inside the real estate space. Let's just say you've got a young, hungry real estate sales force. They should be making calls. They should be dialing for dollars. Then all of a sudden, this right here, they should be promoting their leads. They should be putting budget into both inbound leads and outbound efforts. We can see how many times people have been called, texted, email, when they logged in, have they logged in to the Now app, which I'm not reviewing as part of this review, has the agent completed training. Overall, if you're trying to manage a large sales force and get a quick look at their productivity, this would be an excellent tool to manage them, maybe even top in class. So I love this, which is gonna, you guys can probably follow along with this review and see where I'm leading with it already, but I'm definitely leaning in the direction of this is something that you as a team leader, this would be a very exciting tool to get your company to look at. Social media settings, email settings, things like that. Hold on, I'm going to pull this off the screen just to make sure I'm not revealing anything I don't want to reveal. Okay, it is something I don't want to reveal. So all it is it's some scripts, email settings, so you can automatically set messages. You can set templates, things like that, like inside those settings. Again, on a scale of 1 to 10, it's probably like a 3 or 4. The BoomTown team is deeply promoting BombBomb. Now, as a marketing tool, I love BombBomb. It's a great freaking tool. It is the only one that they're promoting inside of BoomTown. If you've got yourself a sales team that's forward thinking and leveraging video, this is very exciting. My experience right now is, despite video being like a keyword that I use and everybody uses, like out of my 150 clients, I probably have 15 that are leveraging video. So using that number, 10%, and I'm feeling like that's generous because I hammer the idea that video should be part of your marketing strategy. That would mean that 10% of your agents at most might get use out of this BombBomb integration. Just to put that like into a concept. Now, email templates, e-alerts, smart drip plans, text templates, lead central report sharing library. Now, here is one thing I am going to show you because I've already looked at these things. So this is something that I think is super cool. If the, oh wait, hold on. If somebody wants to, call me or something, maybe I can edit this out, but I don't think anybody will, and here's why. I think this is top in class. So this is amazing. What this is it's some kind of sharing where people get together and they share the leads here. And I think this is unbelievably cool. And I'll probably filter out the names of the people that shared it so that I don't get into like, I don't want to reveal anything that anybody doesn't want me to reveal. I will just say this, that in terms of scoring a template by use and then providing it for everybody to use, this idea is crowdsourcing content. This makes BoomTown the only people that I know of that have crowdsourced this kind of help in this way inside the platform. If I was reviewing this platform, this would personally be a major thought for me in terms of using this system. Follow Up Boss doesn't do this, Chime doesn't do this, Sync doesn't do this. Um, like the newer providers like Luxury Presence, they certainly don't do this. Ylopo doesn't do this. Nobody does this. This is probably a BoomTown exclusive, which means that if you were interested in leveraging other people's action plans that they'd shared with you and you wanted to understand how good or how effective it was, there's no way for you to see that. Follow Up Boss has shared action plans, and that's awesome. They're still, in my opinion, the best CRM that's available to the average real estate agent. However, this is taking it a step further. It's not only saying you've got the action plan, there's some type of rating attached to it. Now, how good the rating system is, I have no way of knowing because I haven't used these action plans. I have opened them up and looked at them, but that doesn't mean much inside the world of marketing. I've looked at about 6 of these and they seem decent to me. Do I know for sure that they're wildly effective? No, I don't. Would I guess that they're wildly effective? Probably on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe the effectiveness is 7. But if you're a like hair on fire, medium-sized team that doesn't even have a COO yet, and you're trying to grow, believe me, in the absence of being able to do perfect, good is good enough, all right? Which makes this tool extremely useful, all right? All of these other things, smart drip plans, are basically just action plans, e-alerts. There's nothing in here that if you've looked at my other reviews, you wouldn't necessarily understand. I'm just going to say this is standard features. There's one thing here that is really cool. I'm just going to point it out, literally point it out, which is text templates, okay? Being able to create text templates, there are other systems that do it. Like Call Action, Jesse's company. There's other, but most of the big real estate marketing systems like Sync and Bold Leads does do some texting. They have texting templates. It's a hit and miss. I'm not even sure that I actually know the full list of systems that do or do not do text templates. So I'll merely rate BoomTown on the fact that they do it. And it's very cool that they do it. It's a very important part of marketing, especially if you're going to customize your templates. My main complaint with texting is that right now inside the real estate marketing space is it's being overused. People are being over inundated. It's like handing your phone number out to the Democratic National Convention, and all of a sudden you're getting 3-4 text messages a day every time election season comes in. There's nobody that's not going to consider that to be an interference. Your customers, your prospects, if they're searching for a home, have already given out their information for probably a couple of platforms and Zillow. They're getting text messages, and in many cases, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 a day. They're overwhelmed. You need to be very careful with these. The only way to do it would be a custom text messaging campaign, in my opinion, and this system allows you to do that. Link generators is for ad tracking. You can create custom links that track your ads. That is a very intuitive thing. I do believe that Sync allows you to do that, and maybe one of the 2 of the other systems, but not many. So in sum total, and I'm going to close this out and throw up this main screen again. So how do I rate BoomTown overall? Based on this new deep dive, this new look. And they also have about 20 or 30 integrations, hold on, which are located inside their learning system, which means I'm not gonna show it. I'm just gonna say this. BoomTown has taken Apple's principles as a lead provider. They structure everything very carefully. They've spent a lot of time really like closely managing and closing off their system as much as they possibly can, considering the fact that they're building on WordPress, they're using multi-sites. They're very careful about the way that they integrate this stuff. So what do I say overall? Like this right here, this screen that you're looking at, which is designed to look very similar to WordPress, just like every other provider of this type, it's not WordPress. You're not on your website. They just made it look like you are. You're using two different tools. Database and CRMs are always two different tools. There's no way to do it different. Well, that may not be true. It's everybody builds these tools separately. Front-facing stuff like this, back-facing stuff like database, things like that. And then the best of these providers try to make sure that this stuff looks integrated and intuitive to you as the end user. But it's really not the same tool. It's two separate tools or three separate tools that are layered and are working together. BoomTown has a highly structured, protected environment. On one hand, in terms of security, your data, that's great. I give them a 10 of 10 on website security and other issues that are relevant. But as an end user, when it starts to come to flexibility, moving to and from systems, integrating systems into their ecosphere, if you're not on that list of 30 people, they don't integrate. They may allow you to import the data. What is most likely is it's not going to import directly into BoomTown. It's going to import separately into like a CSV file, and then you got to upload it into BoomTown. That creates a problem. Once they have the data and you're working the data using their system, they're not all that friendly or intuitive for you to do a mass export. If you want to do a mass export directly into another system, good luck, son. Ain't going to happen for the most part. There might be a handful of exceptions where there's outbound communication to other tools such as Follow Up Boss and things like that. People that have very little competition to BoomTown. Now, BoomTown is a little more friendly on the inbound side. They have Sync and Bold Leads, and all the major lead providers are there. You can import all those leads directly into BoomTown without taking a third step. So BoomTown, though, has done one thing that makes me scratch my head. With these integrations in these systems that you're looking at, they're mainly flexing their leadership inside the industry by offering integrations, okay? By saying we are expanding our integrations out slowly but surely, but in a very structured way. They absolutely are only sticking to the best, most popular ones. And if those aren't on the integration list, my input from BoomTown customers is that BoomTown is very unfriendly. Now, Call Action is there. A lot of great names are on the list of people that they integrate with. So if you're using nothing but the top people inside each integration, chances are strong that BoomTown is a good option. If you want to get creative and use smaller providers or maybe people that are on the bleeding edge, BoomTown is not going to be a friendly platform for you to integrate. You're going to have to end up probably building a second lead generation system just to work around them. So where does that leave me? If you're running a medium to large team, BoomTown still has to be on your list of providers that you look at. They've got a lot of really interesting features, especially if you're the team captain or leader inside a really tight sales force. Let's say all your mid-level management is incredibly talented and gifted, and that those guys exist, and they're running a tight ship. You've got strong training, strong integration of all the tools that you say that your team has to use. Then BoomTown becomes one of like the 2 or 3 people that you have to look at. Sync and BoomTown probably become the 2 tools that you really have to look at, with the third maybe being KV Core. KV Core is the cheap option. Having said that, BoomTown has just completely given up, not even trying to compete for the 1 to 10 to 15 people business. Okay, those teams tend to have to be pivot more. They tend to be a little bit more budget conscious. BoomTown is still priced like for what they're offering. Each year that goes by, more and more people offer it for far less expensive. Chime is probably as good as, if not better than, a CRM for $500 a month. Sierra Interactive, definitely. You can look at my Sierra Interactive review. Absolutely blows these guys out of the water, and it's $500 a month. If you're going the independent or custom route, teams like mine can integrate you into a more like you own the system, you own the website, you own the leads and the lead sources. Like we'll skirt you around the idea that you're giving up your data or you're giving anybody else control of data. And BoomTown very much keeps control of your data. It makes it hard for you to get at it, even though technically you own it. And that is not cool. Never has been cool, never will be cool. Just not something that they focused on, probably in the desire to keep their data protected, which is a good philosophy from that end. But in terms of user accessibility or giving clients hard times about where they want to import or export from, I think it's one of the few things that the leadership has missed the mark on. I don't agree with those choices, and most of the people that I talk to don't seem to be too fond of them either. So that's something for you to consider. Hopefully that's succinct enough. When you start talking about big systems and big teams, these conversations become very complex. It becomes a lot about who do you have on your team managing the systems for you? How well can they train everybody on a new tool? What are you trying to get that tool to do? Just leads and routing leads? Are you trying to get people to call off the tool? I personally think that there's a better option than calling out a BoomTown. I would be calling out a Follow Up Boss. I'd be calling out a HubSpot. There's other ways that are more trackable and trainable and more intuitive where the provider gives you a little bit more support. Now, having said that, last footnote, I have looked at the Knowledge Center. To say that BoomTown has increased its library of user focused content is an understatement. When I looked in 2017, there were maybe 20, 30 total pieces of user-based information that you could look at. There's hundreds now. And I didn't review all of them. I reviewed about 20 or 30 different pieces briefly, and I can say that they've definitely done something on the internal part where they've got really competent people on their staff that are giving good education and tutorials in most of the segments that they support. So if you had a question about integrating Mojo, or if you had a question about integrating BoomTown, it's covered in their Knowledge Center. They have a good, robust Knowledge Center for the areas that they cover. And on that, I definitely say they've rampantly improved, and I give them like an 8 or 9 out of 10 in terms of if it's covered, if they are trying to focus on it, they probably have help or tutorials. Are all of their tutorials as clean as they could be or as simplified as they could be? No. That's my one commentary. For those of you who do have medium-sized to large teams and you're watching this review, are you going to have somebody, a COO type, who is familiar with technology, probably guiding everybody through a BoomTown integration on your end? Yes. I do not think that they're quite at the level that they can take an unexperienced team and just get you from 0 to 100 on their own with the tools that they provided. You have to have somebody on your end. So, having said that, everybody do me the same favor that I ask at the end of each one of these videos. Please do me a favor and thumbs up it, leave me a comment, let me know what you thought. I deeply appreciate it. I do these videos to be useful to you mostly, and if you're feeling inspired, subscribe to my channel. I only do 2 or 3 deep dive reviews like this per year now. My own agency is growing by leaps and bounds, and I don't have as much time as I once did, but I still do them, and I do a lot of more broad knowledge stuff. The things that I've done lately that have caught fire are like search updates and how they affect real estate. And I also do those as an SEO expert, so you can find some of those on my channel. Thank you so much for watching. I deeply appreciate it. Wish you all the success in the world.